Now, to our top story. The Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power facility is in a precarious situation today, and at risk is the future of life as we know it in the Northern Hemisphere. That is not an exaggeration. In fact, U.S. Senator Ron Wyden visited the site in Japan, and he then issued a press release on his website talking about how precarious the situation was. Also, a former Japanese ambassador was there and issued a release talking about how the fate of the world depends on reactor number 4. Now, we covered this on Natural News. It's also been covered, of course, at Infowars.com. And in that story, we talked about how the cesium-137 radiation that could be emitted from reactor number 4 is extreme. And here's the quote from the former Japanese ambassador. Quote, "It is no exaggeration to say that the fate of the whole world depends on the number 4 reactor." And why is that the case? Because there are thousands of rods of fully spent and partially spent fuel rods. This is what, of course, powers the nuclear power plants, but they still contain radioactivity, lots of energy still contained in them, and they're in a pool that could be destroyed by an earthquake or a tsunami striking the Fukushima area. And that could happen at any time. Even a 7.0 to a 7.5 magnitude earthquake could take out that pool and cause this nuclear material to combust, to literally burn right into the open air, releasing a plume of radioactive elements, including cesium-137 and cesium-134, which would then drift into North America from about 6 days to 10 days, and then it could blanket much of the Northern Hemisphere thereafter. Now, if this could cause North America to become uninhabitable by humans, as you can see, this is a quote from a story that I wrote, I believe. Up to 85 times the radiation release from Chernobyl has been calculated. Now, what's interesting is today on the Alex Jones show earlier, we did have nuclear industry expert Arne Gundersen on, and we asked him about that figure 85 times, and we fact-checked it with him. He said he wasn't sure exactly where that was calculated, but he then did confirm that at least 20 to 30 times Chernobyl's radiation was contained in the nuclear fuel rods still being stored at the Fukushima Daiichi site. And if there is a fire, if there is an earthquake, if there is even a terrorist attack on that facility, it could unleash unprecedented levels of radiation across North America and around the Northern Hemisphere. So this is a massive risk, and most importantly, this is the big part. He said that even if the Nuclear Regulatory Commission in the United States made the funds available to try to rescue this situation, to contain those nuclear spent fuel rods, it would take them, in his words, 2 to 3 years to take care of that situation. So between now and 2 to 3 years out, and that's even if they decide to solve the situation, we are at risk of an imminent radioactive catastrophe, a nuclear apocalypse, if you will, if there's an earthquake that shatters that pool and causes that nuclear fuel to burn and be emitted into the air. The cover-up of this issue is being called Plumegate. So search for that on the search engines if you want to learn more about Plumegate.